On my 71st birthday, my son broke my arm and locked me in a cleaning closet for touching his wife. That wasn't an accident. That was punishment. He snapped my arm like a twig, shoved me in here, turned the lock, and went back to eating cake in my house like nothing happened. If you're a mom, a grandma, an aunt, and you're listening to this right now, do not scroll. How I got out of this closet is exactly how you're going to get out of the mess you're in too. I hit the concrete floor so hard, my glasses flew off. The dark smells like bleach and damp mop. My left arm hangs useless at my side, swollen, hot, throbbing with every heartbeat. Outside the door, I can hear muffled music, clinking plates, and laughter. Laughter on my birthday, while their mother sits on the floor like a stray dog. If you've ever had your own kid talk to you like you're the problem, just nod to yourself right now. And when this is over, I want you to tell me in the comments, yeah, that's me too. 4 hours ago, we were all at the dining table. I baked my own cake, blew up my own dollar store balloons, set my own table with the good plates no one else remembers we own. My neighbor, Miss Brenda, was the only one who showed up with real warmth, flowers from her yard and a hug that smelled like laundry soap. My son, Jason, walked in late, AirPods still in, his wife Tiffany clacking in behind him in her high heels, like she was walking onto a reality show set. No happy birthday, Mom. No hug. They sat, started eating, and talked to each other about TikTok and work drama like I was a houseplant. I told myself, Gloria, don't start anything. Smile. It's your day. Then I saw it. My purse was hanging on the back of my chair. Tiffany reached over. Slow and casual, like she was adjusting a napkin, she slid my purse toward her, opened it with one hand, pulled my wallet out, popped it open with a practiced little flick, and peeled off a stack of 20s straight into her designer bag like she was tipping herself. Something in me boiled over before my arm ever did. I dropped the plates in my hands. They hit the floor and cracked. Hey, what do you think you're doing? The whole room froze. Tiffany looked up. Big, innocent eyes, makeup perfect. Gloria, relax, she laughed. You're being dramatic. Don't you glory me, I said. That's my purse. You've been in my wallet for months. I've seen the withdrawals. I've seen my jewelry in your room. You're a thief, and I'm done pretending I don't see it. Her smile dropped. And out come that dead flat look that still gives me chills. You're 71, she said softly. You forget things. You lose things. You make up stories. No one's going to believe this. Jason pushed his chair back and stood. For a half second, I thought he was going to defend me. He didn't. He stepped beside her, crossed his arms like a low-budget Marvel hero, and stared at me like I was something that crawled out of the drain. Mom, what are you doing? So I did something that I should not have done. I walked up to her, put my good hand flat on her shoulder, and gave her the smallest shove just to put space between us. I swear I barely moved her, but she launched herself back like she'd been tackled in the Super Bowl, fell over her chair, hit the floor, screaming, "She hit me, Jason! Your mom hit me!" And that was all he needed. He lunged, grabbed my left arm, and squeezed so hard I felt his fingers sink into my skin. "How dare you touch my wife?" he roared, breath hot and bitter with coffee. "Jason, stop. You're hurting me," I gasped, trying to wrench free. He twisted my arm up behind my back, higher, higher, until my shoulder screamed. "Jason, you're going to break." Snap. White, blinding pain. My legs went out. I screamed so loud, Brenda heard from the porch. "Let her go. You're hurting your mother," she yelled. But Jason didn't stop. He grabbed my other arm, dragged me down the hallway like trash, and shoved me into the little utility closet by the laundry room. I stumbled, fell hard on the concrete. He stood in the doorway, silhouette blocking the light. "Learn your place, Mom," he said, voice cold as ice. "You don't run this house anymore. I do. Touch my wife again and it'll be worse than a broken arm." The lock clicked. His footsteps faded. And I was left in the dark with a shattered arm, a shredded heart, and one thought beating in my head. I gave this boy everything, and he just left me to rot. But what he forgot is, I didn't survive poverty, widowhood, and 3 factory layoffs just to die in a broom closet. He thought he locked away a helpless old lady. He actually locked in the woman who once took on his daddy's whole family in court and won. And that woman still had one phone number they didn't know about.
Sometimes the most powerful thing you own isn't your house, your car, or your jewelry. Sometimes it's a phone number you never deleted. My arm pulsed with hot, sick pain. My fingers tingled, going numb. I leaned my head back against the shelves and tried to breathe. Then I remembered my apron. That old blue apron with the lemon print, the one I wear every time I cook, the one with a secret inside pocket I'd sewn myself years ago for diner tips. My right hand, the one that still worked, slid into that pocket and touched it. My phone. Banged up, scratched screen, case peeling at the edges. But when I pressed the side button, the screen lit up like a tiny miracle. Signal. Battery. I could have hit 911. I could have called Brenda. I could have mashed that big red emergency button. But sitting there on that cold floor with my arm broken by my only child and my patience broken by years of being gaslit, I didn't want an ambulance. I wanted justice. I opened my contacts and scrolled past Jason, past Brenda, past hair salon, mall, until I hit a name I hadn't tapped in 15 years. Marcus Reed, lawyer. If you live anywhere near Houston, you've seen his billboards. All you need is Reed. His face 10 feet tall on I-45, promising he'll fight for you harder than your ex ever did. 15 years ago, when my husband David died because a drunk driver ran a red light, David's brothers came sniffing around like they smelled fresh meat. They wanted the truck, the insurance payout, the retirement money, everything. Marcus walked into that courtroom in a cheap suit and loud tie, looked those men in the eyes, and walked out with every penny locked in my name and Jason's. When it was over, he handed me his card and said, "Miss Gloria, if anybody ever tries to steal what's yours again, man, woman, or blood, you call me, day or night. I don't forget my clients." I never thought I'd need him again. But I never thought my son would be the thief either. My thumb hovered over his name. My heart pounded. I hit call. 1 ring, 2, 3. On the 4th, a deep, gravelly voice answered. Reed? Marcus? My voice sounded thin, shaky. It's Gloria Carter, from the Hardy Street case. He didn't say who. He didn't sound surprised. He just went quiet a half second, and I could feel him remembering. What's going on? He asked. I'm in my own house, in the utility closet. My son broke my arm because I confronted his wife for stealing from me. They've been robbing me blind, Marcus. He doesn't believe me. He locked me in here. And I am done being the good mother. I don't want to fix it. I want them to pay. I heard him breathe in slow. Text me the address right now. Don't scream. Don't bang on the door. Don't call the cops yet. Stay as still as you can and keep your phone close. Marcus, I'm 20 minutes away if the freeway behaves. You wanted justice? You just hired it. Now sit tight and let me do what I do. I hung up, sent the address with my right thumb, and then I waited, counting seconds in the dark, like I used to chain bread in the oven. If you've ever been scared to make it a big deal, remember this. Not making it a big deal is exactly how people like Tiffany get away with everything. While I sat there, my brain did what trauma brains do. Hit rewind. Jason wasn't always this man who dragged his mother by the arm. He used to sleep on my chest in Spider-Man pajamas, hair sticking up, breath smelling like apple juice. I raised him on swing shifts and bad coffee, days at the textile plant, nights stocking shelves at Walmart, Sundays cleaning houses on the side. My hands still cracked where the detergent ate them. My knees still ache from concrete floors. But I did it happily because every extra hour meant new cleats for Little League, a better backpack, a used laptop on Facebook Marketplace when his school went all digital. When his daddy died, it was me and Jason against the world. We cried together 3 nights straight. Then I set the alarm and went back to work. Because grief doesn't pay the mortgage. Marcus helped me lock down the life insurance, the house, the 401k, so Jason would always be safe. I thought I'd done everything right. Jason grew up, got a decent IT job, first wife, then divorce. He was heartbroken, lonely, drinking too much. So when he came over one Sunday with that goofy grin on his face and said, "Mom, I met someone," I wanted to believe this would be the thing that made him happy again. "Her name's Tiffany," he said, looking at his phone like her name was written on the screen. "She's amazing, funny, works as a brand coordinator downtown." I didn't know what that meant, but it sounded like secretary with better shoes. 2 weeks later, he brought her over. I cooked all day, fried chicken, mac and cheese, green beans with bacon, pecan pie. I set the table with the lace cloth my mama left me, the good plates that only come out for holidays. Then the doorbell rang. She walked in like she owned the place. Long lashes, blonde hair that came from a salon, nails like tiny knives. A bag on her arm I'd seen in a magazine for more than my whole paycheck back in the day. "Miss Gloria," she sang, hugging me airtight, careful not to smudge her makeup. "Jason talks about you all the time." She smelled like Sephora and sugar cookies. Her eyes, though, they did a quick sweep of the living room. Square footage, furniture, art on the walls, like she was running an appraisal in her head. At dinner, she talked a mile a minute. Small town girl, big city dreams, hard working, humble roots. Everything sounded like a speech she practiced in the mirror. Jason looked at her like she hung the moon. As I washed dishes after, I heard her low voice in the living room. "Babe, your mom lives here alone in this huge house? That's like kind of dangerous. Old people fall. What if something happens and no one's here?" "Planting seeds." Jason mumbled something. She kept going, slow and sweet. "If we moved in, we could help with the yard, make sure she takes her meds. You know, be there for her. It'd be so much better for her." I rinsed a plate and pretended not to hear, but my stomach twisted. 3 months later, they came back, unannounced, faces serious. "Mom, we're getting married," Jason said. I squealed, hugged him, hugged her, cried a little. I'm not made of stone. Then he added, "And, we've been thinking after the wedding, we'd like to move in here with you. This house is way too big for you alone. We can help with the bills. You'll have company. It's a win-win." Everything in me said, bad idea. But I saw the hope in his eyes and I folded. "Of course, mijo, this will always be your home." Behind his back, I saw the quick little smile flicker across Tiffany's face. Not soft, not loving, triumphant. I didn't know it yet, but that smile was the start of the plan to take everything I'd ever worked for. They moved in with a rented truck full of boxes, shoe racks, and more Amazon packages than a porch swing in December. I gave them the 2 big bedrooms upstairs with an ensuite bathrooms, and I stayed in my little downstairs room by the roses. At first, it was tolerable. Tiffany cooked sometimes, then complained my stove was ancient and my pots were tragic. Jason started saying things like, "Mom, we should really remodel the kitchen. We could refinance the house." Nope, I just burned the mortgage papers like a victory cigar. We were not starting over. Then things started disappearing. First, my grandmother's silver brooch, then a $50 bill tucked in my Bible, then 100 from my wallet. I told myself, "You probably misplaced it. You're tired." Then my jewelry box turned up open when I knew I'd closed it. The pearl earrings David bought me, the bracelet from my first promotion, gone. I went upstairs one day when they were out to drop off towels. Her vanity drawer was open a crack. Inside were my pearls, my bracelet, my mama's lockets. "Tiffany," I said later, forcing my voice calm, "why were my things in your drawer?" She looked me dead in the eyes with that perfect mascara and said, "You gave them to me, remember? You said you didn't wear them anymore. Gloria, you really need to start writing things down. It's normal at your age."
That one sentence turned my world upside down. Because once someone starts blaming everything on your age, every time you forget your keys or misplace your glasses, you hear them in your head. It's normal. You're just old. Then came the bank stuff. 6 months in, my statement showed withdrawals and debit charges I did not make. Over $3,000 gone. I drove to the bank, sat in that cold little office with the young man in the crisp shirt, and asked him to pull the camera footage. He did. And there she was, big as life on the screen. Tiffany at the ATM using my card like it was hers, laughing with a friend. He printed a still shot. I took it home like evidence on Judge Judy. That night, I showed Jason. Look, I said. Look at this. She's emptying my account. He tore the paper into confetti. Stop, he snapped. Stop trying to ruin my marriage. If she used your card, it's because you told her to. You just don't remember. You're always tired lately. Those words hurt worse than the fracture. If the people you love most decide you're crazy, who do you go to? I went to my bedroom and cried into my pillow so they wouldn't hear. And I stayed quiet, which is exactly what she was counting on.
By then, the red flags weren't flags anymore. They were billboards. Fast forward to my 71st birthday. I didn't expect a party. I didn't even expect a thank you. I just wanted the day to pass without somebody calling me crazy. Brenda came at 2 with the supermarket bouquet and cookies. We laughed, watched some daytime TV, and for a minute, it felt like any other Sunday. At 3, Jason and Tiffany showed up. She had a tiny cake from some fancy bakery, one candle stuck in the middle like an afterthought. "Happy birthday, mother-in-law," she smiled, handing me the box like it cost her something. Jason muttered, "Happy birthday, Mom," without looking at me. We cut the cake, sang half a song, and Brenda tried her best to keep conversation going. Eventually, she left, but not before leaning in and whispering, "Call me if you need anything, okay?" When the door closed behind her, the house felt heavy again. I started clearing plates. That's when I saw it. Tiffany's hand sliding into my purse. Wallet out, bills out, bills into her pocket. No more excuses. No more, "maybe I missaw." I dropped the dishes. They shattered on the floor. "Stop," I said, voice shaking but loud. "Put it back." She turned slowly. "What's your problem?" she laughed. "This is my money. I just hit the ATM." "Liar," I snapped. "You've been stealing from me since you moved in. I've seen the footage. I've seen my jewelry in your room. I've been quiet. I'm done." Jason came bounding down the stairs. "What's going on?" "Your wife is a thief. Check her pocket. Right now." Tiffany's eyes filled with perfect tears. "Jason, I can't do this anymore," she cried. "Your mom keeps accusing me of horrible things. I swear, this is my paycheck. She's not well. She needs a doctor." "Just check," I begged. "Please, for once, look at the facts." He walked over and held out his hand. "Honey, can I see your pocket?"
She pulled out the bills and held them like a prop in a play. "This is mine," she said softly. "I have the ATM slip if you want it. I took it out this morning." Of course she had a slip. Of course she planned ahead. Something in me finally cracked wide open. I stepped forward, put my hand on her chest, and pushed. Just a little. She flung herself backward, tripped over the chair, hit the ground, screaming like she'd been shot. "She hit me, Jason," she wailed. "She hit me." What happened next, you already heard. Jason grabbed me. My arm broke. The closet door closed. I counted in my head. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. Bread baking seconds. 43 minutes later, the doorbell rang. I heard Brenda's voice first, furious. "What did you do to her?" Then a deeper voice, sharp enough to cut glass. "I'm attorney Marcus Reed. I represent Gloria Carter. You've got 30 seconds to open this door, or I call HPD for kidnapping and elder abuse." My heart pounded so hard, it almost drowned out the pain. Jason mumbled something. Marcus wasn't having it. "I don't care about your version, son," he said. "If my client is hurt and locked up in there, and you keep me from her, I will stack charges on you taller than a Buc-ee's sign. Open the door." The lock turned. Light blasted in. Marcus filled the doorway. Gray at the temples now, tie loosened, eyes blazing. Behind him, Jason and Tiffany hovered, faces pale. Brenda stood with her phone out, already recording. Marcus knelt beside me, taking in the angle of my arm, the swelling, the tears. "Hey, Miss Gloria," he said softly. "We're gonna get you out of here, okay?" He shrugged off his jacket and draped it over my shoulders. Then he stood, voice switching to courtroom mode. He dialed 911. "I've got a 71-year-old female with a broken arm locked inside a utility closet by her adult son," he said. "Ambulance, please. And you can go ahead and send a patrol car, too." "It was an accident," Tiffany cut in. "She fell." Marcus held up a hand. "You really want to try the she fell story with that lock on the outside and a witness right there?" He nodded at Brenda. He started taking pictures. My arm, the closet, the door, the lock, their faces. "Everything is evidence," he murmured to me. "Remember that. If someone ever shows up to help you move or calm you down and you didn't ask for it, use this word: theft or assault. Those words make people listen different." The OMTs arrived, put my arm in a sling, loaded me on a stretcher. As they wheeled me out, I caught to Tiffany's eyes. For the first time, she looked scared. And Jason, he looked like a man who just woke up and realized the house was on fire and he'd been holding the match. The ER doctor showed me my x-rays.
"Miss Carter, you've got a complete fracture of the humerus," he said. "That's the big bone here. We need to put a rod in. Surgery tonight." "Do what you gotta do," I said. "I've got court dates to make." Marcus chuckled from the corner. While nurses hooked up IVs and prepped me, he pulled his chair close. "All right," he said, laptop open. "From the top. Every weird thing, every missing dollar, every threat. Don't leave out the small stuff. The small stuff wins cases." So I told him. The disappearing jewelry, the bank footage, the forged checks, the forgetful comments, the way Tiffany made me sleepy tea every night for months. He typed like a man playing piano. "You got any photos?" he asked. "I had them," I said. "I took pictures of my jewelry in her drawer, her pawn slips, a screenshot from the bank. Jason deleted them from my phone." Marcus smiled, sharp and satisfied. "Deleted just means harder to find, not gone," he said. "Give me the phone." I handed it over. "I've got a guy who recovers stuff for the FBI. He eats deleted for breakfast." Surgery happened. I woke up woozy and sore, arm wrapped in plaster and bandages. Marcus was in the same chair, jacket off, tie loosened, still working. 3 days later, he walked in grinning like a man who just hit the jackpot. "Good news, Gloria," he said. "First, we got your photos back. All of them. Plus, every nasty little text she ever sent about you." He showed me my jewelry in her box, pawn tickets, Cash App transfers, a text to a friend. "Old lady's loaded. House'll be mine in a year." WINK. "Second," Marcus said, "my PI dug up her past. Your sweet little Tiffany has more names than a rapper. She's pulled this scam in Vegas, Orlando, and Phoenix. Always the same pattern. Older partner, move in, drain the account, disappear." My stomach twisted, equal parts sick and vindicated. "I knew it," I whispered. "I knew I wasn't crazy." Marcus leans back. "Crazy?" he said. "You're the sanest one in this story." While I learned how to brush my teeth with one hand, Marcus went into full lockdown mode. He filed emergency orders so nobody could pull so much as $5 from my accounts without me physically standing there. He had the county clerk flag my house so no sale, refinance, or transfer could happen without my ID and a notary. He changed the locks on my doors and hired a security company to watch the place. "Your house is Fort Knox now," he told me. "If somebody tries to take a spoon out, security calls me." Brenda kept me updated from the neighborhood. Girl, you should have seen her face when a security guy told her she couldn't haul your boxes out, she said over the phone. She looked like a raccoon caught in a trash can. Marcus filed criminal charges: theft, fraud, forgery, financial exploitation of the elderly. He also filed a civil suit
to get my money back. In the middle of all that, Jason did not visit. Not once. Not a text, not a call. That silence hurt worse than the stitches. 2 weeks after surgery, my phone buzzed. Jason, mobile. For a second, I thought about declining. Then I answered. Yeah, I said. Mom, he whispered. It's me. I need to see you. I'm staying in Starbuck Living. You come alone, I told him. If she walks in that lobby, I'm walking right back out. He agreed. An hour later, there was a knock on my hotel door. When I opened it, I barely recognized him. He dropped weight. His eyes had deep shadows. His clothes looked slept in. He sat in the one chair. I sat on the bed with my cast propped up. She's gone, he said. Tiffany, or whatever her name is, she took everything. The savings, the joint account, my laptop, my watch, even the stupid air fryer. Left a note that said, "Thanks for the ride." I didn't say I told you so, but my eyebrows did. You know what we call that, Jason? I asked. Tuesday. He barked out a sad laugh and then started crying. I broke your arm. I treated you like garbage. I believed a stranger over my own mother, and I don't know how to live with that. If you're a mom, you know how much that line hurts. Even when you're furious, your heart twists. Marcus told me everything, I said. She's a pro. She's got priors. They're going to lock her up. He nodded like a drowning man grabbing a life's preserver. He said, I will. And, Mom, I'm so sorry. I didn't say, I forgive you. Not then. Some words are too big to toss out in the hotel room. They picked Tiffany up in another state, under one of her other names. The news ran a quick segment. Harris County woman accused of targeting elderly homeowners. In court, without her extensions and fake lashes, she looked small and ordinary. The judge read out the charges. Marcus rolled out the evidence like he was playing episodes from a true crime series. Recovered photos, pawn slips, the secret bank account, texts bragging about milking me, forged property transfer drafts, the notebook where she'd planned to sell my house. Brenda testified. I testified. Jason testified, voice shaking, admitting how he treated me. The prosecutor's case was so airtight, her own lawyer told her to take the plea. 7 years in state prison, restitution, and a permanent restraining order. As they led her away in cuffs, she glanced over her shoulder at me. There was pure hate in that look. I stared right back. I had something she didn't. My house, my name, my people. We recovered $32,000. Not all she stole, but enough to patch the hole. Marcus made my finances so tight, Not even a mosquito could squeeze through.
Now we talk about Jason, Marcus said at my kitchen table one evening. Files fanned out, Brenda drinking coffee at the sink. He broke your arm. That's felony assault. If he were anybody else, we'd already had charges filed. If you're listening and shouting, "Throw him in jail," I get it. But it's different when it's your baby boy who held your hand on the first day of school. Jason started visiting once a week. He'd sit on the porch, hands wrapped around a styrofoam cup, and we'd talk about safe topics, weather, sports, work. Then one night, he came with a manila folder. "I found this when I was cleaning," he said, voice rough. Inside were more of Tiffany's notes, timelines, dollar amounts, a list of medications with my name beside them. "She was drugging you," he said. "Those months you could barely stay awake, that sleepy tea she made, it had a sedative question in it. She wrote the dosage right here." All my anger came roaring back. I said, snapping the folder shut, "We're giving this to Marcus. If there's any way to add years to that sentence, we're doing it." "Do whatever you need to do," Jason said. "If that means I go to court too, I'll stand there and tell the truth. If I need to spend time in jail, I won't fight it. I earned it." He meant it. I could see that. A month later, we sat on the porch again. Cicadas buzzing, street lights coming on. "I need to know," he said quietly. "Are you going to press charges?" I looked at him, saw the boy he was and the man he'd become. "I'm not," I said. He tried to protest. I held up my hand. "I'm not doing it for you. I'm doing it for me. I don't want to spend my last years sitting in court against my own son. But listen carefully. You don't come into my house without being invited. You don't ask me for money. You don't raise your voice at me. You stay in therapy. You stay sober. And you show up once a month, on time, respectful, or you don't come at all. You break any of that, and I'll press every charge Marcus can file. I'll visit you through plexiglass. We clear?" He nodded, crying. Do you forgive me?" he whispered. "I'm working on it. For my peace, not yours. Forgiveness doesn't mean what you did is okay. It just means I refuse to let the poison of it live rent-free in my body." The first night back in my house, I woke up 3 times, thinking I was back in the closet. The 4th time, I got up, walked to that little room, and flipped on the light. Same walls, same concrete floor, same shelves full of cleaning stuff. Different me. "Turn this into a reading nook," I told the carpenter the next week. "Shelves, light, a comfy chair, plants. I don't ever want to look in here and being prison again." He did. Now that space has white shelves, a soft armchair, a lamp with warm light, a little plant in the corner. I sit there with coffee,
my Bible, or a thriller novel and breathe. The place of my greatest humiliation became the place of my greatest peace. Randa and I became inseparable. Grocery runs, bingo nights, doctor appointments. I joined a book club at the library and a support group for seniors dealing with family abuse. You'd be shocked how many of us there are. Women whose checks are managed by their kids, whose houses mysteriously get put in someone else's name, who are made to feel crazy for noticing. I started volunteering at a community center that helps older people with legal stuff. One day, a social worker asked if I'd talked to a new woman, 69, bruises on her arms, eyes full of shame. Her son and daughter-in-law were doing to her exactly what Jason and Tiffany did to me. I sat beside her, took her hand, and said, I went through this. I survived. So will you. I told her the whole story. The theft, the gaslighting, the broken arm, the lawyer, the courtroom, the little reading nook. By the time I finished, her tears had dried. Do you really think I can get out? She asked. I don't think, I said. I know. And I'm going to walk with you every step. That's when I realized my pain had turned into purpose. If this reached you, tell me in the comments where you're watching from and write, I'm done being the doormat. Maybe your doormat is your house. Maybe it's your bank account. Maybe it's your peace. Whatever it is, you're allowed to pick it up, shake it off, and lock your own door. My name is Gloria Carter. I'm 73 now, and I finally learned something. It took me a lifetime to say out loud. My love is free. My house is not. My dignity is not negotiable. And I am never, ever going back in that closet again.